Okay, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the Antichrist.
Yeah.
I have to say, this whole conversation has really
Right.
changed how I think about all this.
Yeah, right.
We've gone from like decoding old prophecies
Yeah.
to analyzing, like what people are anxious about today. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah, like how do we actually use these ideas?
It's a great question, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
We're getting so much information all the time
Yeah.
and facing these huge challenges.
Yeah,
It's easy to feel overwhelmed, like
Yeah.
you can't do anything.
right.
But the good thing about this Antichrist concept
Okay.
is that it doesn't just show us the bad stuff.
Right.
It also shows us a way forward.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So instead of getting stuck in fear,
Exactly.
we can use what we've learned about the Antichrist
Yeah.
as a guide,
Mhm.
almost like a map for how to stop those negative forces.
Exactly. Think of it like a call to action.
Oh,
It reminds us that we're not just watching this happen.
Yeah.
We have choices to make.
Right.
We can resist.
mm,
We can create something new.
okay, I'm ready to get to work, but it still feels kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, I understand.
Where do we even begin?
Well, I think the first step is to just be more aware.
Okay,
The Antichrist isn't always this obvious bad guy.
Okay.
It can show up in subtle ways
okay.
in the systems we're a part of,
Hmm.
the choices we make, even the thoughts we have.
So it's like being a detective, right?
Yes.
But instead of looking for clues in a dark alley,
Right.
we're looking for those Antichrist patterns in our own lives.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so we're being more mindful.
Mhm.
What's the next step?
The next step is to develop what I call anti-Antichrist habits.
Anti-Antichrist habits. Good.
Okay.
I like that.
These are things we can do both personally and together
Mhm.
to help us fight back against those bad forces and make the world a better place.
Like a superhero training program.
Okay.
So what are some examples of these habits?
One of the most important ones is critical thinking. We talked about this before, but it's really important.
Okay.
With all the information and misinformation out there,
Yeah.
we need to be able to evaluate information carefully,
Mhm.
question what we see and hear,
Yeah.
look for different perspectives, and resist those stories that try to play on our fears and biases.
It's like we need to boost our mental immune systems
Exactly.
so we don't get infected by all that disinformation.
Right. And another important habit is compassion,
Okay.
both for ourselves and for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the Antichrist wants to divide us.
Yeah.
It wants us to see each other as enemies.
Right.
It wants to destroy empathy.
Oh,
So practicing kindness, understanding, and forgiveness,
yeah.
even towards people we don't agree with,
Mhm.
is a powerful way to fight that negativity.
That makes sense. It's like we're building bridges instead of
Yeah.
walls. We're choosing to connect with each other
Mhm.
and create a world that's more loving and inclusive. It's not just about how we treat each other, right?
Right.
It's also about the systems we support.
Yeah. The organizations we're part of,
Mhm.
the causes we care about.
Right.
Are we using our time and resources
Yeah.
to make the world fairer and more sustainable?
Okay.
Or are we accidentally supporting things that cause harm and inequality?
So it's about being conscious consumers,
Yes.
ethical investors,
Mhm.
and engaged citizens
Yeah,
who are working to create a world that aligns with our values.
exactly. And it doesn't have to be these big dramatic actions, right?
But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is something small,
Okay.
like having a tough conversation with someone who's saying harmful things,
Okay.
supporting a local business that's doing good things,
Mhm.
or volunteering your time to help your community.
Yeah, those small things can make a difference.
They really can.
But sometimes those anti-Christ forces feel really big and scary,
I know what you mean.
especially with all the problems in the world, like climate change.
Yeah. And political instability.
It's true.
How do we stay hopeful when it feels like everything is falling apart?
When things feel overwhelming,
Yeah.
it's even more important to practice those anti-Christ habits.
Okay.
Not just for the sake of the world,
Yeah.
but for yourself too.
Okay.
Fear and despair are the strongest weapons that the Antichrist has.
Wow.
They make us feel powerless and
Mhm.
stop us from taking action.
So it's like a spiritual practice,
Yes.
a way to build inner strength
Mhm.
so we can face the world with courage and compassion.
Exactly.
But we can't just ignore the problems, right?
No, it's not about pretending everything is fine.
Okay.
It's about choosing to focus on the good,
Yeah.
to celebrate the little victories,
Mm-hmm.
to find joy in simple things,
Okay.
and to be grateful for what we have.
So it's about changing how we see things,
Yes,
seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
exactly. The Antichrist wants us to be negative,
Right.
to be stuck in our fears and doubts.
Yeah.
But we can choose to resist that
Hmm.
by focusing on love, on hope, on
Okay.
the fact that we're all connected.
And when we do that, we're not just helping ourselves.
Right.
We're helping to create a better world.
Exactly. We can create a more just, compassionate, and
Mhm.
sustainable world for everyone.
Wow, that's powerful. It's like we're taking back the story of the Antichrist
Yes.
and choosing to write a different ending.
Yeah.
An ending filled with hope and love and the triumph of, like the human spirit.
That's beautiful.
And I think that's what this deep dive has really been about.
Mhm.
It's not about predicting the future
Right.
or finding one enemy to blame.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the forces at work in the world,
Mm-hmm.
both inside us and around us.
Yeah. And choosing to act in a way that creates a better world for everyone.
This has been amazing. I feel like I have a totally new understanding of the Antichrist.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's not just something to be afraid of. It's something that can help us grow and change. It's been great exploring this with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The real work starts now.
Right.
It's about the choices we make every day,
Mm-hmm.
the conversations we have, and the actions we take
Okay.
to create a world that reflects our best selves.
On that note, that wraps up our deep dive into the Antichrist.
Hmm.
We hope this has sparked some new ideas for you, challenged you to think differently, and inspired you to be a force for good in the world.
The power to create a better future is in all of us.
Yeah.
Choose wisely, act with compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and never underestimate the power of your choices.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration
Yeah, looking forward to it.
of ideas that matter.